welcome back to the stream. It's Tuesday, and you know what that means. It's time for Perpetual Motion, the class where we never stop moving. And look at my pretty rainbow tape. Yeah. Oh man, you'll know how much I agonized over, going to the chiropractor, particularly because I am very much of the mind that we need to be not doing unnecessary appointments outside of the home. I decided this was necessary, just because, hey, my living is made by exercise and fitness, and so I need to actually be taking care of things that need the help. And I was very glad to discover that I felt pretty safe moving through the building. And obviously there's literally no way to create an environment where there's zero risk outside of this apartment that I'm sitting in. So, but I would say, as far as minimizing risk of being in an indoor space, it's did about as well as I would hope for. And my shoulder feels a lot better today. Shoulder feels a lot better. And one of the exciting things for me was the last time I went in was, of course, before March, probably January, maybe February, although I'm not sure I even made it in at that point. And, she'll do strength tests on my shoulder at the beginning of the appointment. And my strength tests were fine, not great. My arm would definitely be, sinking down. She did the strength tests on Monday, and I was like, oh, my shoulder's so much stronger now than it was. And it's because of these streams. It's because we've been working out so wonderfully and consistently here on the channel. So that was super exciting to discover. If you're gonna have to leave the house and go to a doctor's appointment, at least it is something that feels like it helped. My shoulder definitely has not been nearly as touchy today as it has been for the last month or so, which is just really exciting. And I got this lovely rainbow on my shoulder for the next few days, which is also really exciting. So yeah, if you are in Boulder, this isn't sponsored, by the way, I just really like this chiropractor. If you're in Boulder and you are looking to try a chiropractor, I do highly recommend the Chiro Lab. Her office is in the Boulder Rock Club, which obviously I work at when we're not on pandemic lockdown. And she's Ellen is just really excellent. She works consistently with active people, athletic people, so she has a good understanding of the stresses that people who are working out may be putting on their bodies. She's also an excellent personal trainer as well, so nice. Just getting some of that community love. It's always important to find those good communities and plug them. But hey, it's nice. It's really, I feel a lot more energy today too. I think partially just because I haven't spent all day feeling a lot of pain in my shoulder and being frustrated about it. So that's really exciting. I'm getting into the weeds on planning video content for the YouTube channel beyond just uploading the VODs. I've been talking about doing form videos and sequence videos for months now. And so the other day I was like, okay, I'm gonna write down a list of everything that I know I want to record right now and just see. And this is the friggin' monster that I have written. That's a lot of videos. And yeah, so, you know, it's honestly kind of nice because I know that it's going to take me a long time to get through that list, which means that there's plenty of content um, for the channel to start getting up. So it's not quite intimidating to see it written down. Exciting, but definitely all right, well, we need to step back and take this list one thing at a time. Because that's going to be a lot of stuff to deal with. So it's fun though. I'm excited. I've got plans, big plans, my friends. Oh man, and I hope that you've been having a wonderful day, wonderful week so far. I'm feeling a lot more energized than I have in a while. I've been listening to a lot of music today, which has been really nice mental health wise. A lot of really exciting things are on the horizon for me personally and on this channel, and yeah, it just feels really nice to be able to sit back for a second and go, oh, there are good things happening in the world. Cool. So let's take that energy and bring it into class. So this is Perpetual Motion class. If you are new here, welcome. Perpetual Motion, otherwise known as the half marathon of HIIT classes, where, you know, with usual HIIT classes, you'll do a set, and when the timer ends, you get to stop, chill, drink, rest. With Perpetual Motion class, when that timer ends, you go into the active rest exercise, which in this class is cross tracks. If you haven't heard of that, it's super simple. I'll demonstrate it when it becomes relevant. But that means that we don't stop moving from the time that we begin the warm-up to the time that we end the class. We do not stop moving. You still need to make sure you're drinking water, but you need to make sure that you can drink water while continuing to move. So it's intense. If this is your first time at this or any of my classes, just focus in on the bare minimum, and that has 3 components: starting on time, stopping on time, and doing the exercise correctly. All right? So if you're new or within your first month, you're still ramping up, we are not here to go, oh yeah, I can put in 120% right now, because I want you to actually come back to class. And you know, torturing yourself on the first day makes it a lot less likely. So bare minimum. If you've been with me for longer, you know what I want at this point. But all right, let's do our pre-class checklist real quick, my friends. So make sure that you have your water bottle or water vessel. I transitioned over to the mason jar when I realized that I'm at home and I don't need to be getting out that water bottle all the time, and it's a lot harder to clean than this thing anyway. So, oh yeah. Oh, water, so important. We do not do enough to hydrate ourselves, and we should. I thought I had something bigger to say there, but no, just we should. We should hydrate ourselves better. All right, you got your comfy clothes on, whatever that means to you. You've got your mat or mat-sized space on the floor, and if you use a fitness wearable, now's the time to turn it onto high-intensity interval training. Woo, woo, woo. Oh, man. And now we're just going to barrel forward, my friends, because why wouldn't we? So, everybody ready? Now, let's head over to our mats. Oh, let me turn on I guess the speaker would be useful, huh? If I actually want sound to come out of this. So let's just make sure that I have everything actually set up. Nope, you're not connected. Hey! Okay. Give me 1 second, my friends. Hey, all right, there we go. See, this is the thing. When I do something unusual, like connect my speaker to my laptop, and then suddenly I don't know what's happening. All right, there, that's what I want to see. Okay, now it is officially warm-up time, my dear friends. So everybody, on your mats, on your backs, 1 foot crossed over the opposite knee, and as soon as you hear the timer, we will begin with our hip rocks and bridges. All right, so kicking it off, and remembering too that when class requires you to move the whole time, you want to make sure that you are not blowing through your entire store of energy before we even get out of the warm-up. So we are using our warm-up to tautological response here, but we're using our warm-up to warm up. Who knew? Crazy. All right, so that does not mean that we are over here trying to lift our hips as high up as we can go and bridge as high up as we can go. Nope, we're just trying to wake up, boot up all of the systems that we need activated to be able to do this class. All right, and that takes a lot less intensity than you might assume, especially at the beginning. Oh man, it's interesting. You know, one thing that I love about Colorado is that it's so sunny here that even in the winter, you still feel like you're getting a lot of sun. But even with that, it is still, there is still a melancholy to the world becoming dark at 4:30 in the afternoon. You know, no matter what, and no matter where I am in the world, it seems like that is always a constant. Where, all right, yeah, it was beautiful and sunny all day today, but it is not supposed to be dark right now, and it is. It really just messes with your entire sense of time, which is wild. You know, like, do you have this problem where you're going about your evening and you're like, okay, it's like 9, maybe 10 right now, and then you look at the clock and it's like not even 6 p.m. And you're like, how did we get here? And you know, we're already having enough trouble with time having no meaning right now without daylight savings coming in to mess it all up yet again. And it's just, it is something I noticed, particularly with these classes. You know, I'm really glad that I got the lighting kit. That was a hugely important purchase. Those of you who were taking class with me back before, when we were transitioning to shorter days, got to experience the slow loss of lighting, except for my one sad little floor lamp. So by the end of stream, everything was dark and yellowy and pixelated on the camera. So getting the lighting kit was definitely important, but I just still really miss, you know, being able to do even the afternoon classes without lights, you know, just having the blinds open and using that for our lighting. So suffice to say, I think that wintertime lack of light is always tough, even in the places where there is still objectively a lot more sunlight in the winter than in other places. You know, I spent 10 years living in the East Coast, and the combination of it gets dark at 4:30 and most of the day was probably gray and sunless is just really, really brutal. But even here, it's pretty tricky to navigate the winter time with daylight savings. It's one of the problems, I think, with, you know, tying ourselves so closely to time. I mean, everything's a human construct when we come right down to it. Like our concept of how long a second is and how long an hour is and all of that stuff. But man, we'll make it through. And I know we will. And you know what? Being here on the mat, going through class definitely helps. Definitely helps to get our energy back up. To just give us something to do to make that transition into the evening time, to remind us that there is still joy and enjoyment to be found in this world, even if it's getting dark at 4:30 right now. So we will be glad of that. But we'll also let ourselves complain a little bit, because that's okay too. It is okay if you need to complain a little bit about the world getting dark earlier. I understand. Oh man, but I am very happy to feel a little more energetic, a little more present this week. You know, chronic pain is so tough, and I don't have it nearly as bad as others. You know, this is very frustrating, but it flares up with stress. But I also go through plenty of periods where it's not flaring up and it's not that bad. You know, there are people out there with chronic pain conditions, hypermobility issues, which also impacts your ability to exercise. And, you know, they're dealing with levels of pain that are just kind of unimaginable. And they just have to deal with it as a matter of daily life, you know? And it causes brain fog, and it makes it hard to concentrate. It feeds into depression and anxiety and stuff like that. And it can be really intense. So, you know, it's another reason, honestly, why I'm so bullish on form and on us really taking the time to make sure that we are doing the exercises correctly. Because honestly, the safer that we are with our fitness programs, the better able we'll be to continue them, and also the less likely we'll be to injure ourselves. You can never promise that you are 100% going to not injure yourself, okay? That's not something I can promise you. If that was possible, then, you know, elite athletes would never injure themselves, and of course they're out there hurting themselves all the damn time. So, you know, there is no way to make you 100% injury proof, but we can definitely up the odds that you stay injury free. And it starts with checking in on our form, making sure that we know how to do the exercises. And before anything else, before we start adding intensity, going for more reps, more power, more weight, we are first going, am I doing the exercise correctly? All right. Oh, that was nice. Give myself a little bit of a home chiropractic adjustment there. Always enjoy that with some of these back twist exercises in particular. You really get to shake things up a little bit in your spinal column, which is very, very nice on occasion. For those of us who've been doing chiropractic for a long time, it can be really, really pleasant. And I've been seeing chiropractors since I was 9 years old, not because of, you know, particular condition or anything like that, just because my parents started going and they made appointments for me too, and it was a really wonderful way to just help maintain my my overall health, you know. And I do very much enjoy the experience of going. All right, we're standing now. Look at that. We're just blasting through our warm-up here. So moved into our big torso rotations. How's everybody's hamstrings feeling today as we sweep through the bottom part of that circle? Yeah? Checking in. I mean, it's been a few days since our last workout together. Last week was really leg heavy, partly because my shoulder had been flaring up so much that I really focused in on leg and core work, and I don't apologize. I think it was an awesome week, honestly, but it definitely was pretty intense for leg work. So if you've been moving through delayed onset muscle soreness over the last few days, I understand, and hopefully it has felt like a job well done and a class well taken. And now we're heading into our new week. It's interesting because when we talk about muscle soreness, you know, there's still a lot that we don't know. And there's sort of conflicting research around what even causes DOMS. You know, I'm sure many of you have heard the lactic acid theory, lactic acid buildup theory. There's now some evidence saying that maybe actually it's micro tears in the muscles that causes it due to from those eccentric or lengthening muscle actions. But one of the things that they believe can help to reduce the duration of DOMS is exercise. You know, it's that sort of hair of the dog approach, right? Where you're like, okay, what's going to get me through this hangover? Having a quick drink, that'll do it. So if you're still feeling some muscle soreness, fingers crossed that being here today and joining in on class helps you to move through it a little bit more quickly and more effectively. All right, here we are in our last twist back and hips exercise before we move into the cardio section. So we've got our nice deep held wide squat, turned out feet. All right, mine are turned out pretty far because, again, 30 years of dance training. If you can't keep your knees over your feet with them turned out this far, even with your hands on your knees, then you can always turn your knees in or turn your feet in a little bit. Okay, they don't have to be pointing directly side to side. But you know, if that feels comfortable to you, then go for it, obviously. And then just twisting one shoulder at a time in towards the midline. All right. And here we are moving into our jumping jacks. This feels interesting. I can tell that things are moving again in my shoulder because I'm still feeling some activation, some pain signals, but it's not uncomfortable, like you need to stop this pain signals, and they're moving to different areas. So there's movement, there's space in my shoulder again, which is really, really nice to feel. And to be like, okay, that appointment was definitely a helpful thing for me to do. And as if I needed more evidence, but it's still really nice to know that. Alrighty, now down to our kick through. So again, if this is a newish exercise to you, remember, it is fine to just focus on the components of the exercise. You know, to be like, okay, I've kicked, and now I'm coming over to the other side. One thing I want to clarify, because I had this question from some clients the other day, I'm not actively reaching my other arm up towards the ceiling. It's coming up because that way I can turn my shoulders to the side and get my leg kicked out, but it's not lifting, okay? So if you've been confusing yourself or slowing yourself down and trying to lift that free arm all the way up to the ceiling, don't worry about it, all right? It's lifting only as much as it needs to for you to perform the exercise. All right, my friends, we are at the end of the warm-up, which means that as soon as the final horn goes off, we will go right into our cross jacks. And if you haven't done cross jacks before, that's totally fine. They are super easy to pick up. A very similar jump pattern to jumping jacks, just with when the feet come back together, you have one foot cross in front of the other foot, and you alternate each time. And the arms are kept down like this, okay? So jump out, jump in, one foot in front of the other, jump out, jump in, change feet, and that is cross jacks. You can also, if you need some modifications, you can do the arms but kick your feet out in front of you, or just go side to side like that, all right? Just make sure that you are moving, okay? That's the main thing. Cannot stop. 2 hours ago. Well, I guess welcome to your morning workout. Jesus. Oh my goodness. I worry about you. All right. Make sure your water is within arm's reach, all right? You're always going to be doing those cross jacks when you are not doing an active interval. So make sure your water is somewhere where you can grab it from a standing position and drink from it while you're still moving, all right? Just like if you were running a race, you get handed one of those little cups and you have to figure out how to drink it without spilling it all everywhere or choking, okay? All right. So, we are going to do a perpetual motion set. A super quick one though. I've got kind of a packed class today, so we're going to be moving between things relatively quickly. So we're going to have 3 exercises, but we're only going through them 2 times each. So we will have blasted through this set pretty quickly. But here are our exercises. The first one is going to be wall sits, okay? So I get so far away from the camera when I just demonstrate this, but to demonstrate it head on, we're just sinking down. I've got my back fully pressed against the wall, and we're just sitting there, and I'm trying to create 90-degree angles between torso and thighs, and between thighs and shins / calves, okay? And we're just chilling there. Woo, woo, woo. Second exercise is going to be our side-to-side mat jumps, all right? So starting on one side of your mat, all of your weight is on that front foot. The other foot's just crossed behind, but you are generating the power for the jump from that front foot. You can tap a hand down for balance, not to put weight on it. and then back the other side. Check in on your spatial awareness so that you're not in danger of hitting things. And then our third exercise, we've done squats with a knee raise. Now we're going to do squats with a side leg raise. So I'm taking a slightly smaller position, hip width or even smaller, and I'm going to squat down and stand and lift. Squat down, stand and lift. So I'm not lifting the leg that high, about 45 degrees, trying to stay nice and straight all the way up like this, so I'm not bending my torso over, and then down and up, down and up. Core is engaged. That helps to keep the straight line from the body, and then that leg just comes out to the side like we're creating a K, okay? So those are our three: wall sits, side to side mat jumps, and squats with a leg raise. And again, we're only going through these 2 times. 30-second work intervals, no rest intervals. This is perpetual motion. All right, so just 3 minutes or thereabouts for this entire set. It's a small one, small baby set. So you are over here cross-jacking away, and then as soon as the horn goes, you go and you get into that wall sit, all right? So when we talk about starting on time, one of the things we mean is making sure that you minimize the amount of time it takes to get from the exercise you are currently doing into the exercise you need to switch to, okay? So we don't have, like with the Tabata, we get that rest period where we can sort of get up and chill, but with this, we just have to get going ASAP. With our side-to-side mat jumps, we have to be particularly aware of the surface that we are jumping on, okay? So one of the reasons I don't do this one on my mat is because my mat is on a slippery surface, this fake wood flooring, and if I do the jumps on the mat, it is far more likely that my mat will slide or slip apart, and suddenly I'll be over here just collapsed on the ground with an unexpected injury. All right, so, all right, second and final time through. So you're back in that wall sit. Make sure you've still got those angles, all right? We're not going for a ton of time, but you still need to make sure that your form is good the whole time. The whole 30 seconds, you are at those nice, beautiful right angles, all right? And now back up and immediately doing your side-to-side mat jumps. Again, when we talk about spatial awareness, if you're in a space where you don't have a ton of room past the end of your mat, then you may not be able to jump as far. You know, if I'm letting myself go my full distance, I can absolutely make it to the other side of my mat, but I would whap into that bookcase right there. All right, so last time for our squat leg lifts, we're definitely engaging that core, and as you can see, I am occasionally bringing my feet entirely together when I do that squat, okay? So hip width or narrower. And now right back into your cross jacks. Hey. Oh, good, good, good. All right. We're having fun, right? We're having lots of fun. Oh man, water is such a wonderful thing. Yeah, I'm still obviously feeling stuff in there. Like I said in my Instagram post, you know, care for this kind of injury is never a one and done thing. You know, we all wish it was. I wish that I could go in and have one chiropractor visit and then be like, perfect, my shoulder is healed. But it just doesn't work that way. And that's okay. You know, I've got time. So if you are, you know, working through some sort of injury recovery, or if you're just feeling frustrated that your exercise isn't, you know, progressing as fast as you want it to, remember that none of this is instant gratification, and that's okay. All right? That is totally okay. You are getting better. You are getting stronger. It may not always feel that way, but I promise it's happening. All right, now we're gonna do a guided AMRAP, okay? So I will be Simon Says-ing you basically through these sets, and you can tell what at least one of the exercises is going to be when I rotate my mat like this. So we're going to have 3 exercises and our lovely active rest cross jacks. And I will tell you when to switch from exercise to exercise. So first exercise is going to be flaming scarlets. Arms up in a V for victory, straight elbows held up and at an angle, okay? So I'm not sticking them straight up in the air. They're you're Natalie Portman in on the porch in V for Vendetta. And then we just jump from foot to foot, trying to get those knees up above the crease in the hip each time, okay? So flaming scarlets, then shrimps. Gotta love our shrimps as we move ourselves along our mat one side to the other by first moving shoulders, then hips, shoulders, then hips. And when you get to the end of the mat, just change directions and go back the other way. Whoo! I do love that exercise. And then kick-throughs is going to be our third one. And you all know kick-throughs. We just did them in the warm-up, so I don't need to tell you any more about them. All right, so cross-jacking your way back onto your mats. Remember, I'm going to tell you when to switch from exercise to exercise. So let's just start with some kick-throughs, all right, everybody? Doing some kick-throughs, keeping in mind we want that shoulder on the standing arm directly over the wrist, okay? And we want the standing leg at a 90-degree angle. So don't let your butt come down to the floor, and don't let that knee cave in towards the midline, okay? All right, back up, do some cross jacks for me. Just give me some cross jacks, nice and chill, all right? Remember, active rest exercise means take the opportunity to try and deepen your breath, lengthen your breaths, because we're about to go back to cardio. All right, give me some shrimps, please. Shrimps, shrimps. I know, I'm going in a crazy order from what I showed the exercises in. Wild, I know, but I believe in you all and your ability to follow along with Simon Says. All right, and now some flaming scarlet. So here we are. Remember, those arms stay in that V for victory. Don't let the elbows start sinking down. And we really want the knees up above the crease in the hip. You may not be there yet. You may be lifting your knees as high as you can, and it may not be at that place. That's fine. What I don't want is I'm just trotting along, you know, and this is fine. No, it's not fine. I want you to be lifting those knees as high as they can go with an eye towards eventually being able to get them up above that hip crease. Back to those cross jacks, back to those cross jacks, my friends. All right, so big breaths. Get that heart rate down a little bit. Obviously not a ton, you're still moving, you're still working, but practice trying to regain control of your breath and your heartbeat every time you're doing anything with rest in the title. All right, back to those shrimps, please. Back to those shrimps. Shrimpy, shrimp, shrimps. Yeah, we gotta love them. Well, I love them. One of the big things that we talk about with our ab exercises is making sure it is, in fact, your core that is driving the exercise, right? It does not help if you're driving the exercise by pulling yourself forward with your head. That is not useful or helpful or good for you. All right, now give me those kick throughs again. Give me those kick throughs, please. Yeah, kicking through. Da 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 da. Oh man, yeah. One of the big things, and I don't talk about it enough, but you do not want to let your butt come all the way almost to the ground, and you don't want to let that standing knee cave forward, because when you then put the torque pressure to start shifting to the other side, your knee is in a really compromised position, and that puts you in line for injuries down the line, okay? Always pay attention to that knee positioning, my friends. All right, give me those cross jacks again. Give me those cross jacks. Hey, we love them. We love to see them. Remember, active rest. So treat them as a rest, especially in today's class, especially in perpetual motion class, where you are actually moving the whole time. You need to figure out how to treat this as rest, okay? And now, back to those kick throughs. Yeah, just to really throw you off a little bit. Throw everything off, just a tad. But we're in our final minute, so we're gonna ramp up a little bit because we are getting close to the end. All right, get back to those shrimps, please. Back to those shrimps. Give me some nice shrimps, really engaging that core. Remember, you can always do the boat rock if you need to visualize the exercise before trying to do it. So if you're turning in a circle right now, that's fine if you stick with the boat rock, but not much longer because we have got just about 20 seconds left. So I want you to stand up and give me those flaming scarlets. Flaming scarlets for the last bit of this timer, all right? Arms in that V, jumping those knees up as high as they can go, all right? Keep that energy up, keep that pace up. You've got this. You're so close to the end of this timer, and then you don't get to stop moving, but you get to go back into those cross jacks. There we are. See how much nicer that feels right after trying to push yourself through flaming scarlets. Oh my goodness. All right, my friends. Let's get some water in us. Oh yeah. Excellent water. Okay. How y'all feeling? I know, there's the problem with the perpetual motion class where you can't really, if you're participating in class, you can't really participate in chat in the same way because obviously that requires stopping moving long enough to type unless you have your keyboard set up at standing level and you can bounce and type at the same time, which just seems like too much work. But I'm glad that you're here. I know you're doing a great job. I know how intense today is, but the good news is our next thing that we're going to do is the first thing that we did. So we're going back to that perpetual motion set, 30-second work intervals, 2 times through, same 3 exercises. So we've got the wall sits, we've got those side-to-side jumps, and we've got squats with the leg raise, okay? So we're just doing that same thing again, and you already know it. It's beautiful. So now you can really focus in on pushing yourself a little harder. Hey, who doesn't love that? Don't you love it when I tell you that now you have an opportunity to push yourself a little harder? All right, my friends. So cross-jack your way back onto your mat. And I will get this timer set up. And as soon as you hear the horn, we will start with that wall sit. Okay? So there we go. And into the wall sit. So check your angles. Remember, the nice thing about the wall sit is you can really set yourself up so you can push against your feet to keep your back nice and straight against the wall. However, know that that really increases the intensity on your quads, and just be aware. Keep breathing. Your muscles need that oxygen, okay? They need to keep getting that oxygen the whole time. They do not benefit from you holding your breath while you're doing these exercises, okay? Here we are doing our side-to-side mat jumps. I know I talked about last week being all intense leg-wise, and well, this week seems to be shaping up similarly. So, again, sorry, not sorry. You know, it is all going to be a benefit, even if it feels real intense today, okay? Remember, exhale on the effort. Nice, big, dramatic breaths. There is no one there's no one in the space with you to make you feel self-conscious. We are alone in our living rooms or bedrooms or basements, and you can do whatever you want. You can let out whatever weird and wacky sounds you want to. If it is helping you to get that oxygen in, if it's helping to spur you on, inspire you through these sets, then find your battle cry and don't be ashamed to use it, okay? One of the things that I noticed when I started teaching class is that AMAB folks, assigned male at birth folks, tend to be much less self-conscious about breathing loudly, intensely, having those, cries that accompany their exercise than assigned female at birth folks. Those folks tend to need to be told that yes, it is totally okay for you to be loud and intense and have that battle cry. I'm playing a lot of Assassin's Creed Valhalla right now. Find your Viking battle cry as we come to the end of these squats with the leg raise and go back into our cross jacks. Hey, all right. Yeah, look at that. Nice little 3-minute interlude. Oh man, I do love the next thing. But before I cackle too evilly, make sure that you're drinking water. Look at that. I'm not even doing as much as you're doing. I'm doing a lot, but I'm not doing as much as you're doing. And I'm already halfway through that water, okay? Make sure you are hydrating all through class, all right? Okay, so next thing we're doing is you are picking a number between 150 and 250. So smaller range than usual, but yes, it's everybody's favorite, our toe squats. So you are gonna get about 10-ish minutes for that, okay? And I'm sure that you're like, but Blanche, this is a perpetual motion class. What are you doing to me? Well, you can take breaks, but they have to be are constantly moving breaks, okay? So if you need rests in during the course of your toe squats, that's okay, but don't stop moving with our active rests, okay? So everybody knows what I'm looking for. Feet hip width apart, keeping our backs straight up and down as much as possible, and squatting all the way to the floor, letting those heels come up naturally when they need to, keeping our core engaged to control all of the weight, making sure that we don't get down to the bottom and bounce around, all right? So you pick that number between 150 and 250, and I'm gonna set a timer that will just have one horn in the middle of it to tell you when you are halfway through, okay? So that horn does not mean change anything or do anything different. It just means, hey, you're halfway through. So we're getting ready. We're on our mats. We're moving. And now we are doing our toe squats. So remembering that, again, you can have rests, active rests, but you need to make sure that you are doing the same number of reps each time before you rest. So if you do 25 reps and you're like, all right, it's time for me to rest a little bit, cool, fine. Make sure you're doing 25 reps each time. If you are doing 50 reps before you need to take that rest, cool, awesome. Make sure you're doing 50 reps each time, okay? And remember that core engagement. I cannot stress it enough. Without it, it feels like a small thing. It feels like it shouldn't have that much impact. I promise you it does though, because we're coming down here onto the balls of our feet and we're trying to control the balance with the ball of our foot and the ankle. And if my torso is just kind of free to go wherever it wants to go, then, oh gosh, it starts falling in a direction I don't expect. My feet and ankles can't compensate. Best case scenario, I fall over and have to reset. Worst case scenario, I fall over and hurt myself, okay? Whereas, as soon as I engage those core muscles, I've now controlled all of the weight of my torso. So now I can go down and up, and my feet do not have to do any predictive modeling of, well, where might the torso go this time, okay? And it also means that I can prevent gravity from taking control, because that's another big thing, right? We don't want gravity to take control and slam us down to the bottom. And it's easy to do, We're going along and we're like, oh man, this is getting really intense. My legs are getting fatigued. Why not let gravity help out? It will hurt your knees. It is not good for your knees. So bring your core into the party, and it helps to take pressure off your ankles and feet, and it helps to take some of the pressure off of your quads too, because that engagement, I engage my core, it helps me to sort of pull my torso upwards. So even as I'm going down, I have this lengthening, and so I feel less immediate pressure on my quads as I go down into that position, okay? So just lots of things to think about, but we do these a lot. This is a pretty common exercise in our repertoire right now. It's an exercise I love. It is so awesome for strengthening up those quads in particular, which are powerhouses for so many types of activities. You know, if you go hiking, if you're in Colorado or Seattle or anywhere with good, you know, intense hiking trails, toe squats can change your life. All right, they just give you so much more strength and stamina in those legs, and the next time you get out there on the mountain, you're like, well, holy crap, this feels so much easier than I am used to it feeling. I can go farther without feeling tired or like I need to take a rest. And it's such an exciting feeling. Oh my God. And that's the thing, we talk about it a lot. Finding those points of joy and pride. Finding those things that you can notice and be like, oh, I am improving. I'm doing something great for myself and my body, okay? Maybe you haven't been, hey, we're halfway through. That's awesome. Maybe you haven't been able to hit that PR that you're trying to hit, or up that number of reps. You know, maybe you're still struggling with that. Maybe you're feeling like you really want to add some speed on to some of the more intense cardio sets and you're just not able to do that yet. And that can be really demoralizing. So find the things that you are improving at. Even if it's just start with your ability to get through class, all right? Start there. It sounds so simple. Believe me, it's not. If you've taken class, you know that it is really, really impressive to make it through this class. You know that you are working so hard to make it through this class, and it changes, your ability to get through changes in terms of how tired you feel by the end, how much effort you have to put into continuing to move the whole time. So maybe you haven't been able to add more toe squats on yet, but maybe you notice that it used to take you, you know, a couple of hours to feel like you had recovered from class, and now it only takes you 30 to 40 minutes. That's super cool. All right, this isn't a class that, you know, you just drop in on and are perfect at. This is an intense class. It does ask a lot of you. It's a class that everybody can do, and I stand by that, okay? Whether you have to modify it, you know, whatever level of exercise experience you have coming in, you can do this class, okay? If you come in and you take class and you stick with it, you know, everybody can do this class, but it takes a while to feel like you are able to do it without being really overwhelmed. And so start there. Start there and go, you know, the first few times I took class, I didn't know if I would be able to come back, but I came back and I kept going, and now it doesn't feel as hard to get all the way through. That's amazing. Be proud of that. Stick with that. Identify that. Pat yourself on the back for it. Cheer yourself on, okay? Find all of the points that you can find and celebrate them. We're not good at celebrating ourselves, folks, but it's so important, and you are doing incredible work. So just think of it as if a loved one of yours was taking this class with you and they were feeling really down on themselves, you'd be like, are you kidding me? You're doing so great. You're able to do this, this, and this. You're able to go for this amount of time. Like, that's awesome. We need to be able to do that for ourselves as well. okay? We need to be able to look at ourselves in the mirror and be our own hype people, because it's so important to have people in our communities who will support and hype us, but it's also important for us to be able to do it for ourselves when those people aren't around. And, you know, as long as we are taking class here on the stream, and I hope that we are doing this for a long time, you know, at some point we will go back to having the world a little more open. And, you know, if you've really been missing in-person classes, totally understand. But I love these streams, and I think that there is absolutely a place for these streams and for this type of class in our fitness world. And I think it improves accessibility for exercise, and it helps to decrease that feeling of overwhelm, that feeling of shame or embarrassment. And I hope that y'all stick with me as we see what the world goes towards in 2021. Because I'll still be here, you know? I'll still be here teaching these classes and having a grand old time. Woo! Oh, how's everybody doing? Remember you're doing cross checks, yeah? I know I sat down, but I'm the teacher. I get to do that. Remember, you are doing cross checks, not standing or sitting around, all right? Sorry, usually I would have demonstrated that, but I just got so excited about drinking some of my water. All right, my friends, we've got just a couple more things. So, actually, just one more thing. We are going to end out. That's why I can't do that. Hey, all right. We're not going to end out that way. We are going to do this. We're going to do a 5-minute AMRAP. We're going to end out that way with 3 exercises. And then we will do some stretching. Don't worry. We'll stretch out those quads. My favorite quad stretch is on the docket, I promise. All right, but let's do our final set. It's going to be an AMRAP, not guided this time. So I'll give you the 3 exercises. I'll put on the 5-minute timer, and you switch through each of the exercises on your own time, at your own pace. It's up to you, okay? So, crack. Okay, we're gonna have 3 exercises. One of them is gonna be burpees. I know y'all know how to do burpees because we do them every day in the warm-up, so we don't need to dig into those. Second one is gonna be side-to-side planks. So starting from our front plank position, all right? Shoulders directly over wrists, butts out of the air. Let the heels drop over, come up onto one arm, extend the other arm up, hold for a second, let the judges see it, and then back through the center to the other side, and we go back and forth, okay? And the third exercise is going to be a held front superhero. So we lie on our stomachs, arms and legs extended out, and then I lift my legs all the way off the floor, my chest and arms all the way off the floor, and I just hold here, flying through the air. If you need to add a little movement in, you can bend at the elbows, extend the arms behind you, bend at the elbows, push them in front, and just do that over and over again, okay? So those are our 3 exercises: burpees, side-to-side planks, front superhero. And we've got a 5-minute timer. There'll be one horn in the middle of it to tell you when you're halfway through. And as soon as you hear that horn, go from your active rest and immediately into our exercises. So for our burpees, we are doing a wave push-up. So we jump to a plank, but then we let the hips come down, then lower the chest, raise the hips, jump forward, big victory clap. Making sure to keep your elbows right in by your sides the whole time. Sometimes, if you ever notice me like adjusting weirdly, it's just because I've got the screen right in front of me and I can see myself, which I'm not convinced is great, because every once in a while I'm like, do I actually look like I'm in line on the screen? And then I have to figure out which arm is which, and it's ridiculous. Anyway, so those are burpees, making sure you have that nice big clap. That's our opportunity to cheer ourselves on. Then when we get to our side-to-side planks, you know, this is a great exercise for strengthening those shoulders. And we want not to go for speed, but strength and stability, okay? I want my shoulder to be fully engaged, not sinking down, not wobbling around in the socket, all right? Our shoulder joint is our most unstable joint, so the more that we can do to strengthen it, the better off it will be. And then our most unusual core exercise. You know, we are very used to contracting our abdominal muscles for most ab exercises. We're not used to this lengthening to lift the chest up this way, okay? There's also a lot of glute engagement to help keep the legs off the floor. So it's really working both areas. And remember, we are breathing, even though it's a held position, actually especially because it's a held position, making sure that you're breathing. And you'll be amazed at how much it does help to add just a little bit of arm movement in, okay? It really feels a lot less burdensome to hold the position when you get a little bit of that arm movement in there. So don't shy away from it. I do it all the time. I don't generally do that exercise without adding in the arm movement. All right. Well, we are in our final 2 minutes, my friends, which is so exciting because you have been moving for the entirety of class. You have been just going and going, learning how to parcel out your energy use so that you don't run through it all in the first 15 minutes of class and then have nothing to get through the rest of class. And now the finish line is in sight and we are getting so close. So just make sure that your form is still there, okay? We are not losing our form just because we're at the end of class. It is even more important to check in on it and make sure that everything still looks and feels right, okay? This is how we train ourselves, where even when we're feeling tired, even when we're feeling muscle fatigue or brain fog or anything else, we can still check in and go, all right, that foundation is solid. I've got this. I can do this. I can keep moving, keep hanging on, and I know that I'll make it through. Holy crap, you've made it through. Good job, everybody. Whew, that was awesome. That felt really good. And now you don't have to keep moving. But let's do some stretching, because stretching is always nice. So let's get a little bit of a shoulder tricep stretch in. So just take one arm out to the side and then across your body, other hand just above the elbow to help pull that arm in to your chest, okay? And let's just breathe there a little bit. Usually I do this stretch standing, but I was already down on the floor and we're gonna do our quad stretch anyway. So it doesn't need to be standing and it doesn't necessarily benefit from being standing. All right, other side, same thing. Ooh, yeah, nice stretch. Feeling good. My rainbow is still attached. Oh, rock tape, I have missed you. I've missed you a lot. Yeah. Oh man. It's one of those things where I don't know all of the science behind like rock tape and KT tape, and you know, they are not, again, there's no silver bullets, friends. This is not a silver bullet, but it does help. Even if all it's doing to help is reminding my shoulder of a good position to hold itself in. You know, I have pretty good posture, but even I can use that assistance. And when you are struggling with pain, our unconscious reaction frequently is to contort ourselves in some way that may help from our perspective to lessen that pain, which ironically then tends to leave us with even more pain, just in different places. You know, it's the same reason why when we sprain our ankle and we're limping for a while, we tend to then get overuse injuries on the other side because it was having to compensate for the loss of mobility due to injury. So that's the other component of injuries that we always have to look out for, is the ways that we are trying to compensate for the loss of mobility in one area of our body, and just trying to minimize unhealthy compensations as much as possible. Again, another reason why it's really important for us to have that clear understanding of form, which is our foundation for everything that we do. All right, let's get some quad stretching in, my friends, because that was a lot of leg work. All right, so y'all know my favorite quad stretch. For the working leg, I have folded it so that the heel is on the outside of my hip, and I'm gonna pull it in as close to my hip as possible. My other leg, I'm just letting the knee fall open. I've got the foot here by the knee of the working leg. And the main thing is, as I let myself into the stretch, I don't want the knee on the working leg to pull off the ground, okay? So if you feel it start to pull off, if you're like, I can't go any lower without it pulling up, then you've reached where you can get to in the stretch right now, and that's fine, okay? So now we just let ourselves back until we feel that intense stretch in our quad. That could be here for you, and that's awesome. If it is, stay here. Or maybe you can get down to your elbows before you feel that stretch, or maybe you can get all the way down to the floor, okay? Just be honest with yourself, all right? There's no benefit in trying to shove yourself deeper into a stretch than you're ready to go, okay? There's just, again, yeah, please listen to the signals your body is sending you. I promise your body is pretty smart about this stuff. All right, so we've settled in, and now we're gonna take 4 deep breaths, and each time you inhale, I want you to visualize the oxygen going right to that quad, right to where you're feeling the sensation of the stretch most intensely. And when you exhale, that's when you can try to settle just a little bit more deeply into the stretch, okay? Here we go. That's one. That's two. That's three. And four. All right, and now just very carefully get yourself back up to a seated position. Don't move this leg under its own steam. Take one hand to the knee, one hand to the ankle, unfold it manually, stretch it out in front of you, bring the other leg to meet it. Just shake out those knees a little bit, and then let's flex the feet and point and flex and point and circle the ankles in one direction and then the other direction. And now we do the other side. All the same notes apply, getting into the position, getting that heel right up next to your hip, letting yourself backwards slowly, okay? Don't try and just fall into the position. You want to move slowly so that your brain doesn't suddenly go, oh, we want to activate that muscle. Here, let me tell it to contract, because that's what we don't want it to do, okay? We get nice and settled in our stretch. You may be able to go lower or not as low on this second side. Totally natural. We are not symmetrical creatures. So again, don't treat each side as its own entity, because it is. Don't assume that just because you were able to get down to the floor on one side that you're able to do it on the other side, okay? All right, and let us take our 4 deep breaths. Inhale the oxygen to the muscle, exhale, and try to settle just a little bit more deeply into the stretch. Here we go. That's 1. That's 2. That's 3. And 4. And we carefully make our way back up to seated. Manually unfold that leg, okay? Bring the other leg to meet it. Shake those knees out. Flex the feet and point and flex and point and circle the legs in one direction and then the other direction. And I'd say that we're done. All right. Woo! Good class, everybody. Man, it's an intense one. It really is, and I do not downplay that. So you made it through class today. Pat yourself on your non-injured shoulder. And make sure to drink plenty of water. All right? And refueling, okay? It's really important that you have at least some food within the next 30 minutes or so to start that refueling process, okay? Our glycogen stores need a full 24 hours to replenish themselves completely. So we don't want to let that too much time go by before we start that process, okay? Fueling our bodies is important for us to be able to do classes like this, okay? And yeah, I'm not going to go on that particular lecture today, but let's suffice it to say, food is an important component of living, and I never want you to use exercise as a punishment for eating food, or as an inducement to be willing to let yourself eat food, okay? Food's super important. I'm going to go eat plenty of food after this. And I'm going to enjoy it because I like food. So, yay. All right, my friends, we've got 3 more classes this week. Woo! We're at the very beginning, the kickoff to the broadcast week. So tomorrow, Wednesday, at 4:30 p.m. Mountain Time, we've got Jump Around, our weekly cardio class. Friday at 6 p.m. is Functional Home Fitness, where we do weight training using objects you can find around your house. And Saturday morning at 9 a.m. is the weekend kickoff, which is our awesome strength and stamina focused body weight class. All of these times are mountain times because that's where I am. So you have, I follow my own time zone. Where was I? There I was. You can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. All of my handles are in my end cards, but they are all variations on Blanche Case Fitness. My YouTube channel, Blanche Case Fitness, is where the VODs for these streams get uploaded. And as you can see, there's a whole hell of a lot of additional content that's going to be going up there. Not all at once, obviously, because that would be crazy. But, you know, over the months to come. So definitely head over there and subscribe for lots of content. Send new people there. You know, I'm going to get the warm-up sequence up there, probably one of the first things that I do. And so somebody who is new to class can go there beforehand and watch over the warm-up breakdown and just have a better sense of those exercises coming into class, which will be really awesome. If you want to help support me financially in making these streams and making this YouTube content, I do have a coffee account, Blanche Case Fitness. Donations are always very much appreciated. I am also currently working to set up a Patreon account as well. So if you are one of my regulars and would like an easier opportunity to be able to support me in a more ongoing fashion, that will be going live hopefully by the end of this month. There's a lot of work that goes into setting this stuff up and figuring out different membership tiers and benefits and all of that stuff. It's really intense, and I want to make sure that if I'm setting up a Patreon that there is good stuff for you all and good community building opportunities. And so, yeah, it may take me a couple of weeks to get that fully off the ground, but it will be coming soon, and I will definitely appreciate anyone who feels able to join in the fun there. And speaking of joining in the fun, look at this awesome community. If you want to help keep building it, keep working out with me, then please do follow this channel. Tell your friends, coworkers, loved ones, anyone looking for an awesome class. I stream at least 4 days a week. I'd love to do more. I love being here. And yes, eventually I will have the nice camera set up. So it's not really relevant to following the channel, but I'm excited, and clearly Will is as well. Oh my goodness. All right, my loves. Go take that celebratory shower. Go have that dinner. Drink the rest of that water. Have a great night. And I will see some of you back here tomorrow. Mwah. Have a great night.